Okay, so we're going to talk about compression, which is definitely the most difficult thing that you're probably going to battle with getting your head around. So best of luck, stick with it, and I'm sure you'll get there eventually. Just keep trying with it, because this is a hard one. Lots of different things to get the hang of, but we'll try and make it as easy as possible. So we're going to experiment with a compressor on this clap. Okay, just to make it super simple, we're going to turn off the reverb. We'll just make it smaller. That's just double clicking it to make it smaller. You can do that with all your audio effects, just to get them out of the way. We're going to turn off the reverb, and we're going to put a compressor on our audio effect chain onto the clap. So we're just going to put the release to auto, and we are going to talk about what a compressor does. So, a compressor pushes the sound together to make it sound more even. So if you've got a really loud part of a sound, like for example the start of the clap right here, this part here, it's quite loud. See how it's a larger little waveform, and then it kind of smooths out towards here. If we put a really harsh compressor on this, then it means that it's going to make this bit here that's bigger smaller, and this soft sound here, the smaller stuff, is going to be made bigger. So in other words, it evens out the sound. Now this, you might think, oh yeah, evening out the sound, yeah, that sounds like something I want. Well, have a listen to this. Yeah, not that cool. So that's what we had before, and this is evening out the sound totally. I just changed the attack because it's the attack is basically how fast it takes for how long it takes for the compressor to work. So if you've got a slow attack, the compressor will attack the sound, slowly. So in other words, I don't know, maybe you'll get to like there, and then the compressor will start. So I'll activate the compressor immediately as soon as it hears anything, and then you get like this really smooth, kind of dull, not alive sound. The start is as loud as the end. It's not very exciting, so we don't want that. What we want is a little bit of compression to bring out the soft parts of the sound, the subtle parts, so that they're more obvious to our ears, but we don't want to damage the already louder parts to take away the punchiness of the sound. So what we're going to do is we're going to put the attack as fast as possible, and then we are going to dial it in. Okay, we're going to dial it back a bit, so let's try the other way. So dial it back, and then as soon as you just hear a little bit of change, then just go super slow. That's probably all you need. Honestly, compression, you don't want to overdo it. Now, this is a difficult thing to get your head around, but so the attack, I don't really want this bit to be smoothed out, because it's it's large and it's crunchy, and I don't want this bit to sound smaller. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to tell the compressor to attack the sound a little bit later. So it's going to have a bit of a sleep in, and it's going to start working. Let's try here. Let's dial it in again. Listening for the very start of the sound. Hear how it's got room to breathe now? The start, that click, is not being affected by the compressor. Cool. Now let's A/B it, see if we've done good or done bad. So they're pretty similar, although you can see that when the compressor's on, that the out signal is a little bit louder. So let's just compensate for that by putting it down. So they're very, very similar. It's a little more obvious if we put some. I'll put this to the left side of the reverb. Let's put some reverb on, and then put a compressor on the other side, which means this compressor is just, where this is exactly what we've had before. We're going to turn on the reverb, and then because reverb is obviously a very, very soft, very small wave signal, we don't really need a lot of compression on the other side to bring out that reverb. Hear how the reverb's getting louder because the reverb's soft, and as I'm putting on the compressor, the reverb's coming out. So that's obviously too much, so let's dial it back. That's good, and I think a pretty slow attack because we don't really want the reverb coming out at the punchy start. So I think this is okay. Look, to be honest, compressors are really, really difficult. Don't stress about them too much. There are more important things. Compressors are important if you want to get that real punchy sound. But if you choose your samples well, then yeah, I don't know. To be honest, yeah, compressors are hard. Yeah, just do the best you can with them. Practice makes perfect. And watch loads more YouTube videos on them as well, because there are lots of different approaches to using them. Style-specific approaches as well, which are definitely worth listening to, and instrument-specific as well. I know there's very specific approaches to using reverb. Using compression for drums, as there is very specific for using it for basses, i.e. don't use much compression for basses because it sucks away the sub bass level. It takes away those lower frequencies, and so it essentially takes the power away from your bass. So use compression very sparingly with your bass. Some people compress their kick, which you want to be really want to know what you're doing, because kick's pretty important, and you can get some great samples out there that just drag and drop, get them to play. But if you want to stack kicks and then compress them and get the perfect kick, then by all means go for it. But I think, to be honest, it's more important to find a good sample of a kick and not put a whole bunch of other stuff that's going to interfere with the sound of it, than to go and stack kicks and then compress them and then put heaps of chains on them and things. So just a little bit of food for thought. But keep at it with compression. It's hard, but yeah, you get there. Okay, what's next? Stereo width, very important. I'll see you then.